I got
Welcome back to What Are You Saying, the realest podcast in the world. I'm Osama.
I'm Muhammad.
And today, as you know, we're sitting in a studio,
New
new, putting so much work. Eventually, hopefully, we'll have a sign here. That would be dope. The wine
garlic hummus tahini, like right over
and
here.
jollof, bro,
And
which I didn't have at your family event. Crazy.
still.
I had jollof.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
had jollof before. By the way, I'm not trying to start a war, but Ghanaian jollof is the best. Anyways,
No competition.
no competition, never no competition, bro. I don't know. It's funny because my Nigerian coworkers are like, they try to like tell me, oh, I'm gonna get to my topic, our topic, inshallah, but like, there's no competition between Ghani and Jalal. I've had both, and we've called it. We have Sheikh Abdullah Uduro. We filmed a video with him. We told Dr. Omar Suleiman that you know it is what it is. Ghani and Jalaf is the Jalaf to go for. Today our topic is why haram is easy and halal is hard. Funny because I was thinking about this, and it's actually true. It's like, and the easiest thing is to think about marriage. Like zinas now has become easy, marriage has become hard. Working in haram industries has become easy. Working in like halal industries has become harder now. We're gonna talk about a lot of things. So, what are your thoughts on this? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you understand the perspective? Is it because we live in the West, or is this a worldwide problem?
So beautiful topic, beautiful title and description. I think the funniest thing about this topic, just the title itself, is that for Muslims, particularly in the West, I'm not trying to generalize or anything. It's like we have such a broad, not a broad view, limited perspective when it comes to this. So when you're saying like Haram is hard, halal is easy. We only focus on like 2 to 3 things most of the
Yeah,
time,
marriage is one of them.
like marriage, food, and like entertainment.
Entertainment, yeah.
Pretty much, like that's pretty much it, right? So growing up, it's like okay, that's black and white. That's yes or no. You either delve in or you don't do it, based on obviously Islamic understanding, perspectives, and rulings, right?
Hmm.
And that's pretty much it. So most of the time, it's like yes, you do go to the madrasas, obviously up until a certain point, age 13 and 14.
Hmm.
After that, you're in high school, elementary school, middle school. It's only those who are like student of knowledge, pursuing and stuff that continue like Islamic
Yeah.
education, or if you go to Islamic school, which wasn't as big back then as it is compared to now, right?
No, for
So
sure, absolutely.
it's totally different now. So the reason why we make it hard for ourselves is because the attachments that we do have, we don't know whether it's halal or not. And even if it's not halal, we've already attached to it. So it's one of those things. A good example would be Call of Duty. Now, I'm not going to come here and talk about whether you should play video games more or less, all that stuff and everything. Because to be honest, if we could hear my answer, most of you guys probably disregard if you're over a certain age and stuff, right? But coming from a certain generation that we came from,
Yeah,
Call of Duty
that was the era.
was the biggest thing. Like before 2004, when Modern Warfare dropped, first person shooting games were just like, okay. When Modern Warfare dropped, it changed everything. And I remember the first time I saw Modern, Modern sorry. I remember the first time I saw Modern Warfare. I'll never forget this. So the game just dropped. Everyone's talking about it. Like it's something's new. Anytime something like changed the medium something. Oh, I never went to his house really. My little's like, yo, everyone's gonna come to my house after school. I don't know if you know this story. Everyone's gonna come to my house after school. And we're gonna play Modern Warfare because he got it. He was like one of the first people to
Oh,
get it.
really?
'Cause remember at that time you needed like age consent, all that stuff
Yeah,
and
no,
everything,
usually
right?
consent.
And he had a Xbox 360. So I'm like, okay, no worries. Back then, when I wanted to go out and stuff, it was so annoying. I had to go home and eat and then pray. I know it's a bad thing, but mentality back then and everything, right? And even then, my mom was like, where are you going to go and stuff, whatever, because she didn't really know like the
Yeah.
US and stuff, right? So let's say everyone was already there from 3:30. I arrived at like 5 o'clock. So I remember knocking on the door. Whoever opened up. And usually, with like back then, you see your friends. Everyone's like, oh, like, bro, everybody was glued to the TV. Everybody was sitting down glued to the TV. I walk in, I sit down. I don't know if Manny or it was Kyle, one of those guys. They're playing a match. I remember the map in Modern Warfare, the tutorial map. Like I'm just showing you how to whatever. When I saw that, and how like I was like, this is it. We never seen anything like this before, right? And being there for the next 2 hours, it was just okay, this is it. This is the new standard when it comes to
Mhm.
video games, right? But I'll never forget how I felt when one of the maps, there's a beginning of many maps, obviously, for the next few years. But the key thing is acceptance. one of the maps was one of those outdoor maps, and obviously had the Arabic writing,
Yeah.
Islamic calligraphies and stuff like that, and everything. And in my head, I'm like, what is this? Like, what? Like, I get it. Obviously, it's talking about, and remember, this is 2000s. This is George Bush, war in Iraq, Afghanistan, all that stuff and everything. But I'm like, for this to be in the video game, like they actually have like Muslim writing and all that stuff and everything, and it's like, what do I do? What do I say and
They're
stuff?
putting
Right?
propaganda.
Yeah, the propaganda, right? So it's like,
Games.
as a 10-year-old, 11-year-old, it's like, bro, what is this?
The fact you understood that is crazy.
No, bro, it was real. It was real. But I'm like, at the same time, this is it. Like, this is the standard and everything. So I don't know if it's allowed. It's allowed. I just know I can't play around my parents, especially my dad. And after that, that was it. And then Modern Warfare 2, another level. And it only increased with the propaganda, the song propaganda.
And Black Ops
stuff,
as
right?
well.
Black Ops as well. So it's just like, as these video games became prominent, it was just like, I'm not really loved playing with their friends. But anytime you saw like anything that's pertaining to Islam or things that obviously try to portray a negative stereotype image of Islam, it was kind of like a inner kind of guilt feeling, right? It's like, so I never talked about it to my parents or anyone about whether it's halal or haram. But at that point, I kind of knew. I'm like, this is probably haram because I'm saying the name Ali like in Arabic, like I'm shooting at it. It's like or near it. It's just like
you're conforming to it.
I'm conforming to it, right?
Like you're a Muslim playing a non-Muslim character.
And remember, that was the game for the next 10 years?
Yeah.
At least 10 years, maybe longer, but like at least us playing all that stuff and everything. We had FIFA, we had 2K, but I'm talking about like
But Modern Warfare changed the game because it was the inception of all the other shooting games or like these Black Ops, other Modern Warfare.
War,
it's
all
true.
these things.
It's definitely true. But the thing is too is like you go back to your point in the mid 2000s, early 2000s.
Yeah.
You go back to a time where you're like you were saying that you had to go pray, you had to go do all your Islamic duties. And I know what you're saying because back in the days, like we had like one of our friends, his mom would always take us to go pray. And it's crazy because it's not like you didn't want the praise, you didn't want to be different,
of course,
from your like from your so-called like Caucasian friends.
Yeah.
And I think it's like if you're the only one that says, yeah, I can't play this dude, whatever, you're looking at this like the game seems fun, but also I feel like that sort of guilt.
You know how you're amazed by when I had that a sense of guilt.
Yeah.
Did you ever have that guilt for you when you play Call of Duty? At any point or no?
The thing is, I never really played Call of Duty or I never played I don't really play, I think the guilt was mainly like speaking with the halal and haram, or halal being harder, haram being is like a GTA Grand Theft Auto.
I was about to say that. That was
that was
it's hand in hand. It's all hand in hand.
That was for me is like because you were telling yourself I'm playing this game because they get to drive the car
of course
around. Like remember Vice City, Miami? That was legit me. I was playing, but the whole context behind it goes against Islam. And also, it's we talk about, for example, pornography being this thing where it's actually it can mess you up mentally. It affects the frontal lobe over years, and then it takes a long time to like delete a lot of the memory out of your files. Similarly with these games, it's implementing what a false reality in your brain. So when you go outside, you think when you see that Muslim, oh, I gotta shoot him. Or when you're playing Grand Theft Auto, it's playing that perception. Every girl's this, or I could do this, I could say this, and I feel that's when I had that realization. When I was younger. I'm like, oof. My brother probably had a better answer because he actually played these games, but I played a bit of Modern Warfare. I wasn't a big fan of it, but there was that reality where I'm like, I was watching my friends play. It seemed nice to watch them.
Yeah.
But then it's just like you're staying quiet to the fact that it's like, I'm kind of, you hear them speaking Arabic, and you're like, oh, they're shooting my own people. This is crazy.
It's crazy. Yeah, even the campaigns.
Yeah.
Yeah, because besides multiplayer, the campaigns, that was a big thing too.
Yeah.
So when you're fighting against the enemy and the words are saying and everything, I was just like, bro, what is going on? Because when I'm at home, the conversations I'm having is about how the media, the government, all these things are trying to change Islam into something that it's not. But at the same time, the new wave as far as entertainment and video game and socialization amongst peers and my friends is this game that has elements that's also leading to the down portrayal of this religion that I believe. But when you're young, you don't have a voice. You don't want to conform and stuff.
You also, I think reputation matters as well. Like I know this whole the whole rep. I know the whole conversation about halal and haram, but it makes so sense because we're kind of like delving into our childhood. Even when you go back to high school, and at that point, the PS3 had just been out only 3 years. Yeah, I'd say 3-4 years. It's only been out, And at that point, all like Black Ops stuff, like all these like game. But the thing is, when PlayStation 3 came out, it allowed for more fit that to like be involved, like Grand Theft Auto. San Andreas at that time was really huge, and you were able to do things that you weren't able to do in previous games. That is no need to go into it. But the thing is, a game like playing FIFA, which doesn't take you away, it could be hard to take.
I want to tell you a crazy fact. And by the way, when he's saying that he didn't play Modern Warfare, this is true because everyone all played together and everything. He didn't play with us and stuff. I never played San Andreas.
That's crazy.
And to be honest, it doesn't make any sense because my first GTA like you was Vice City.
Yeah.
So I was a kid when it came out and
I
everything.
think that's the best one too.
Obviously GTA 4 when that came out too, but in between the middle time, San Andreas when they came out, we had a PS2. Also, my parents was not gonna get that for me. My friends had it. I don't know, it's so weird. Like the time that San Andreas was out,
it was huge.
It was huge. It was huge. It was literally huge.
Because you could ride everything.
It was the biggest game on earth. I don't know why. It was so weird. It's like everyone had it, but I don't know why. It's as if like whenever I went to someone's house, we never played it, we're always doing something else. So when I did see the game maybe once or twice during that era, I just saw people playing it, but I never played it myself. Never played San Andreas.
But it's also a blessing because imagine like how much.
But also, I know the game. I know like the effects and everything and all that stuff. I know how big it was when it came out. Everything.
It was huge. But also like talking about Halal and Haram. Like,
I thought I was gonna get it.
You thought you were gonna get it?
Yeah, because at that point we're older. We're in grade 7. 6?
I never had the game on PlayStation, but I had it on my laptop.
I thought I was gonna get it.
Honestly, it's funny because all these things take you away. Like you know, ever at one time you famously said something, and this is the first time I'm mentioning you. You famously said like at the mosque, or you're talking to someone else. You're like, you feel like you wasted. This is a year ago, so you said you feel like you wasted the last 7 years of your life, minimum 7 years of your life, with people when you could be doing other things. Right now, you ask yourself, all things that we're doing, from playing games to go linking outside to maybe selling out a bit of who your identity is. Because Muslim is part of your identity,
of course,
like it or not. Like it's not only religion. It's not just like you're not born Muslim. Like either you believe it or you don't. And I think a lot of these games, halal and haram, because for example, it's funny because we have a sheikh at the mosque that always mentions these games, all like these are playing games, and there's nothing wrong with playing games, but I feel like certain games generally are looking at it at a more mature point of view, I don't think they should be played. Because when you look at a game like Grand Theft Auto, it's legit it's the opposite of what Islam teaches you. The fact that there's prostitutes, the fact that they're able to steal, the heists are all that go after their
kill at will,
steal someone's car. It's like these are not things that you would do if you try to do it in reality. You're gonna get, it's always gonna happen to you legally.
Obviously, when we're talking about the topic, the whole like halal's easy, no, halal's hard, haram is easy. Okay, man. And the thing is, yeah, we're one of the perfect time because all these things that became new, we're becoming of age. So not only was GTA and Call of Duty were like exposing us to things that we weren't supposed to be playing or doing at that age, the idea and the revolution of microphones connecting it to your controller, party chats, reckless. The amount of stuff that people used to say and vice versa. So when you're talking about like unfiltered conversations amongst people you're never going to see, and hearing where they're from, their dialect, their tone, and everything. And obviously, one of the biggest things that was super annoying about party chats, especially in that time, still up till now, but was the idea of everybody saying the N-word because they know they cannot
they can get away with it.
Be touched or found. Hearing a 10-year-old Billy who eats like mayonnaise sandwich every single day saying the N-word because you're destroying him in a 1v1 or search and destroy or ground war or team deathmatch was super annoying. But that just became the common thing. It's just like if people just wanted to have fun or just get someone to rage, scream the N-word and stuff. So that was another thing too. So it's just like, okay, as a Muslim, this is a weird feeling that I'm having with myself every time I'm playing these games. But then as a Black person, people around the world playing these games are quick to refer me, whether they know me or not. I remember they're always waiting to find out. Once they heard my voice, they just knew, like, oh, okay, he's black.
Yeah.
Boom. That to ask what your name is. It's like, okay.
What's up, my?
It's like, okay, now it's like,
Maybe
now like it went from having a game of fun to now I'm trying to kill you and destroy you. And I'm trying to message you afterwards, trying to send you an invite and talk, like, send those long text message, all that stuff. So it's just like you said, we're slowly being programmed to become people, teenagers, young adults. And that's literally living in a world where our fitra, our natural inclinations, is to an environment and system that's totally devoid of what Islam is and what it pertains and what it limits us from. Because by the time we're already we're of age, and obviously when we're thinking about percentage wise, as far as things that you look at or do or view or believe and say that's haram, whereas things that you do, say, believe that's obviously Islamic halal. Hey, for myself, it was probably like, 90-10 at one point.
Like
Easy.
haram, ton of halal.
Easy.
That's what a lot of people.
That's a lot of people in the West. Easy.
Yeah, 100.
Easy.
Well, the thing is too is also you're like, whether you're like, again, we're only focusing.
I remember, and then reaction thing. By the time someone's trying to talk to you, whether it's an elder or someone of age or stuff like that, it's like, who are you to tell me you don't know what you're talking about, or you're just too goody goody, because the line has been blurred. Lines are blurred.
That, but also I don't think our community in I'm not sure about now. I can't speak about the youth now because I'm not a youth now, or like we're considered like mature youth. I'm not sure what the term is for us now, but I believe when we were younger, talking about 14 to like your 20s, there wasn't that community where like if a lot of these topics are probably more spoken about now, like these haram topics. Like for example, when we talk about halal is hard and haram is easy, we always try to talk about marriage because marriage has become hard now. Zina, sexual intercourse before marriage has become easy because like we have made it harder to get married. We've made it easier to go the opposite direction.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you should be doing it. It's because it's harder. Of course, it's harder. Also, I believe that just because something is hard that's because it's hard to make $1 million. It's not gonna go to the bank and start stealing. That makes no sense. And I think to your point about like at one point you felt like you were like 90% in the 90% realm of doing things the wrong way, regardless of it being haram or whatever. Yeah, I think we're all in that ballpark. And I think the reaction from the community also makes it worse. Because either you start to do it more or you feel like, oh man, like they're judging me. And I feel like when you know you have a friend who is in a predicament that goes against Islamic values, I would genuinely say, talk to them. As much like again, like we've all been there. I will say because I've also famously said in the past, and I'll say it here, there's a time where I feel you have to stop. If you feel like you've given your all and you're like you no longer can give this nasiha, give this advice, then you can just leave. But I feel if you still have it within you, if you're able to give, always obviously go out of your way because it's not easy. You live in the West, and of course, every country across the world, there's like it has its own trial, it has its own fitness. But we live in the West, which is a lot more. The things now that kids are more drawn to, bro, vaping at the age of 11. Come on, what at 11 do you need to vape for?
Like smoking a cigarette at 11 was
uncalled for. I remember when
you said you were crazy.
I remember. Well, we used to take a hot dog and pretend we were smoking. We would take a hot dog and pretend we were smoking, or we would take anything that was. That's pretty. Pause.
I remember. Yeah, that's totally forgot about that one.
Yeah, so we would take like these like food items, like a French fry, and be like, oh, like whatever, or a toothpick. You have 11 years old popsicle sticks. Yeah, so and our creativity was like, okay, yeah, because if we smoke, we're gonna get.
That's what we used to do with popsicle sticks. I forgot back in the day.
Yeah, I know people like.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah, the like the mammoths. Yeah, I remember.
Their teeth up here, and
we used to do that,
and they would get all.
I haven't seen that in 20 years.
Oh, again, talk about creativity. Talk about creativity.
So funny.
But I feel also regarding halal, like you're never gonna avoid haram, man. It's not like you live in a world where you're never gonna avoid it. You're gonna come across it, whether it's on TikTok, Instagram, work. You hear that a manager and a employee have someone's cheating on their wife. A manager and employee have a relationship, affairs. You're always gonna come across it, and I think too is like we also make the haram so easy. We make it so accessible. Like just because, for example, you're not married does not give you the right to like, oh man, Allah's making me. Let me go sleep with someone. Let me go have a relationship with someone. That makes no sense. And I'm sorry to be blunt, but it generally makes no sense for girls too. Also, girls like who say, I'm trying to get married because I want to run away from home. Brother, my advice is have a good relate. Like, not everyone's gonna have a good relationship with their family. I get it, but also running away from home does not solve your problem. You know, try to fix as much as you can, and inshallah, Allah opens up that avenue, opens it up. But I believe that you to choose haram to actually hold on to prove your point by doing haram makes no sense. Legit makes no sense. I'm gonna do this because of what I'm going through.
You don't fight fire with fire.
Exactly. Well, yeah. And also, the one thing I used to hate, I mean, I've spoken about it, is the term two wrongs don't make a right, which I used to never like as a kid. Because I'm like, stop saying that. Because, of course, when someone's like wronging you, you want to wrong them back. When in reality, it's obviously correct.
Yeah. So I guess as a way to, yeah, kind of add weight to this, yeah, we've talked about haram, different avenues, pathways, and how these things happened, and even our experience amongst ourselves and the ratio pertaining to it. So if people are thinking, if the perspective and the ratio is that bad for you guys at one point in your time, how are you guys able to make that shift now to where we are now?
The people?
Yeah, because those who are watching, right?
Are you asking me how to make this shift?
Because no, I'll eventually ask you. Who else am I going to ask?
Oh,
But like this is under perspective because we talked about how it's different parts of society,
yeah.
how it affected both of us, how bad the ratio was for us at one point. Obviously now it's totally different and stuff. So obviously there's like growth and transformation amongst both of us. Someone who's watching might be at that 90, 10, 95 or whatever and stuff, right? And they don't know the steps and measures or leeways to go about it to slowly make those steps to kind of change it around for the better, right? Because not everyone gets that support, community, background, just examples. Because the one thing I will say, we had examples. Despite what we were going through at our time, we still had examples. I know for myself at least, right? So it's not for me. I'm not making an excuse. Because some people don't have those examples, obviously. But for myself, I did have those examples. So like I said, I knew right from wrong. But yeah, as far as people in that cloud, as far as blurred lines, don't know what's halal, what's haram, but they want to make those changes and stuff, what can they do in terms of changing their life around for the better?
Well, you said one thing.
Time's not promised.
Well, you said one thing is community. Like you said, like let's go back to me. Of course, if you've been following us for this long, I've known this guy my whole life. Pretty much brother, family, all that great stuff. Now, feels community because, for example, I can go back to a time in high school, like when I was around certain friends, and it's funny because you always have this notion in your head. I can premeditate, or I can choose what I want to do. I can stop the influence from what my friends were doing. For example, the biggest thing is our high school was known. When I mean it was known for drugs, it was known for drugs. Alcohol was known for everything.
Yeah.
It was at the time. I'm not sure. No one cares about now. But I'm speaking about the time. So when you're talking to these people just like casually, and for example, you're obviously unaware of what they do, and then you find out, or you think you're able to stop yourself. Oh no, I can stop myself because I'm good. Well, no, anybody can get influenced easily. Versus fast forward, 15 years later, 16 years later, community goes a long way because yes, we all sin. Yes, we all indulge into haram here and there, or think about it, you might start to cite because of curiosity, but it would happen less if you're around people who always remind you of God, who always remind you of Islamic teachings or the prophets or whatever. And I'll say this myself, our other friend, his name is the Bossy. That's like our circle. A lot of times when we're together, yes, we care for each other, we all love each other, but the love it 99% of our conversations, honestly, is always like reminders of like, and it always ends up in deen or starts in deen. It's funny. It has to, because I feel if it doesn't, and you should ask yourself, it's like, if you're still at 30, for example, talking about things which add no benefit to you at 25, that's when you have to start recurring. Like, are these my friends that are going to help me enter heaven? Or are they going to have me enter hell? So the famous quote that we all heard, I'm not sure if it's still said, but I would always hear it. The 5 friends you have dictate who you are. So if your 5 friends are, like, for example, is like religious, you'll be the 6th person who's religious. If the 5 friends of you are always, doing clubs, you're going to be the 6th one who's at the club eventually. You can't stop influence. It's funny because we in our tafsirs that we go to, Dr. We have had him before, I guess, Dr. Amjad Qorsha, who's amazing. And he said one time, the human being could do more than Iblis himself can. Iblis only just whispers. But the person I can go to him, hey man, that girl likes you. Oof. Man, tell you he's my credit card. He's there, she's that. What happens eventually? that manipulated you to go, and then you fall into this trap and like, oh yeah, she does like me. I'm gonna go buy her this. I'm gonna go buy her that. Money's the root of all evil. Friends can be also the root of all evil if you don't treat them wisely. And I feel like that within itself is different than me saying, "Hey, brother," if you was talking to someone, I'm like, "Hey, are you talking to her respectfully? Are your conversation respectful? Did you go approach your father? Did you go approach your brother?" Those are different types of conversation. But I think the biggest thing would be community. What about you?
Yeah, number one, intention. It's all you. What do you want? It's intention. It's literally intention. You want change? Ask Allah to give you intention to allow you to have that change. Two, once you make that intention, start. Don't wait. Don't let it drag. Just start. Tomorrow's not promised. It's not guaranteed. You might wait till next week. God forbid, in a car crash, you're paralyzed. You can't move as well and stuff, right? So just magnify the problems in the situation. So once you have the intention, you decide to start, the environment that you are in change. You must change. If you are with people, like he said, that talks and does things that's not befitting for you and your nuts, because your nuts works against you. It's not for you. It works against you. It is trying to take you away. So you have to understand, if you're not subconsciously or consciously doing something that's going to remind you of the dean at the given moment, something that could come by, whether it's a girl, whether it's a video or a song, all that stuff, this, that, and the third, a conversation will slowly drag you away. And by the time you know it, you are doing something that you did not want to do. And now you're back at zero. Put yourself in a new place, in a new status, in a new setting. That's the mosque. Now, at one point, going to the mosque was the hardest thing for myself because my mind and heart did not feel attached or connected to it, God forbid. Because everything I was attaching myself to was everything that was not pertaining and good for my soul. So once I decided to make that intention, that start and change of environment, I not only stayed in the mosque, got attached to the mosque, connected with people who are of age and who are of the same trajectory and pathway of wanting to change for themselves. And when you do that and join a volunteer group, talk to the imams, find out what khatires, tafsirs, things going on, you will find out information that's been given from generation to generation on how to live and protect yourself in this dunya while being a Muslim, no matter where you are. And once you get this beautiful sacred information, you're able to apply it and utilize it in your life. And at the same time, while those outside distractors are coming, as far as your friends and stuff like that, it will be harder for them to try to pull you in because you are putting yourself in an environment and you're connecting yourself with people that is of the highest of quality, the best of conversations, the best of manners and examples and characteristics. So you truly get the best example of what is being halal, what is being haram. And with that, you really are able to change slowly but surely. And once again, support, support. Whether you have parents, you have uncles, aunts, whoever that person is in your family that's of stature when it comes to Islam, whether they might love reading Quran, or whether they love doing the remembrance of Allah, whether zikr, or they love just watching videos and stuff like that, have that relationship with them. Ask them questions. Find out things that allows them to have those habits, meaningful, potential growth building habits, because it's all about habits. We have good habits, we have bad habits. Those conversations you talked about, two conversations amongst me and you and Abbas 20 years ago, 10 years ago, 7 years ago, like I said, we talked about me the last 7 years being waste. Those conversations were really useless. It was not of no benefit to myself or the other people involved. So hours upon conversation that's not no benefit did not serve. So when I look at my life now, I cannot blame anyone for myself because I put myself in those situations.
Mhm.
So I am literally fighting against time because time is not promised, and I am trying to do the best that I can. So with I see him, and when he sees me, of course we have podcasts, we have other things to do and stuff. But remember the reminder of God and Islam and something that we can do to better ourselves has to come into play because it is that small seed that's going to allow us to walk away from the interaction, scenario, circumstance with a better understanding that life is a test, as we know. And things goes up and down, but as long as you do true and stay true, all will be easier. The haram it becomes harder.
Yeah, and I think you said a lot of points. I think one of the points you said is like the attachment to the mosque. And there's a story I want to share. Right, this is I don't know when this happened, but I remember the image in my mind. We're leaving the mosque on Ramadan to go to eat food. Now,
yeah.
there's nothing wrong with eating food, but again, just to talk about priorities. At this point, I think the mosque we just had finished 8 because at the time our mosque was only doing 8 because of we never had another imam and the mosque was still. There's not the point. But we were leaving the mosque, and some of the guys that I used to volunteer with, the same program that I volunteers with, were still there in the parking lot. And at that point, they're probably 18, 19 years old. So they're young. And we're at this point, we're like our early 20s, mid 20s. That's where we were. And I remember he said something to me. He's like, man, and at this point, we were like, it was the plethora, like the inception of like starting to go to the mosque a bit slowly. But I remember you said something to me, which I'll never forget. You're like, man, at their age, I wish I was like them at their age. And in my head, I'm not sure if I said anything to you. Maybe you can remind me. But I remember I stayed quiet. In my head, I was like, yeah. Because we're going to eat at a place for Sahur. Like, so you're thinking at this point, people are going to play Qiyam al-Layl, they're going to play Tahajjud.
Those 3 guys by themselves.
But I think the fact that the mosque by themselves is, and the thing is, they don't even know that we saw them. So
No.
one day, when they're a little bit older and a little bit more mature, we'll tell them the story. Jim, I'll never forget. And we went off, we took off. I remember it hit me like a ton of bricks because it's like, these guys are way younger than me, teaching me how to be better in my religion. And they didn't grow up in this mosque.
No.
We grew up in this mosque. They didn't grow up in this city. We grew up in this city.
Yeah.
And it's so crazy to see because it's like at 18 years old, we know how it is. Like you're out with your friends, you're going to eat, you're going to watch basketball games, hockey games, whatever it might be. The thing is too is like, and by the way, I want to preface something. There's nothing wrong with watching basketball games, going out eating with your friends. But is it taken away from your prayer? Like, are you going to stop? Because a lot of the times you see, like you're out with your non-Muslim friends, you're almost still ashamed. Oh, I gotta go pray. Because you're like, man, I don't want to ruin the vibes though.
Saying the words, the actions, or even going away, it's like,
well, we're here to chill, but they don't understand. I gotta go pray for 35 minutes. I'll come back.
and you value their words,
Over
their opinions over the deen, because we see it as mechanical, black and white, as opposed to being introspective, loving, and colorful. A lot of time wasted.
a lot of time wasted, but I think in retrospect, it's like it's funny because like Dr. Ember one time spoke about this and he said the people who went through his circumstances and the situation have a lot of debt. So that's why I always hear you or me. It's funny because even your coworkers, sometimes they always make fun because of the advice I give them, but I just give them advice I believe they're going to need. Because if I'm here to give you advice, I think I'm not going to give you advice for your liking. The advice I'm going to give you is real advice based off of what I lived and what I've endured. That goes to everybody because I feel a lot of the times when we give anybody advice or we're hesitant, we're like, oh, you're not going to understand. It's not about understanding. How many times has someone given you advice at a time? It may not have made sense to you until way later.
Of course.
Right? Or you probably looked at him, you were like, you idiot. Like, this makes no sense. But it's not supposed to make sense. When I give you advice, it's only when you make the intention. You spoke about intentions. When you make the intention, say, I'm ready to take this advice, it will make sense.
Mhm.
Similarly, when you want to read the Quran, similarly, when you want to go to the mosque, similarly, when you want to go help out someone. I believe when you make the intention, right, that's when there's no transaction. You don't have to take up Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Yeah.
And you also have to understand, people are probably listening and be like, well, you guys had fun, but to this point, you're not guaranteed time. Like, if Allah had given you a second chance to redo your 20s, I think you would avoid all the mistakes.
Of course. Easy.
The first thing, you'd be at the mosque.
I don't know.
Of course, but you don't have that option. And neither do you, who's ever listening. If you are in your 20s listening, just learn from us. It's not, by the way, can you remember everything that you did in your 20s? I can't remember what I did 2 years ago, let alone go back to 21. And sometimes I look, when people bring things up, I'm like, wow, we were idiots. Like, ya Allah forgive us. But I think these moments that you have that you so-called consider fun aren't really fun when you grow older, because you're not going to be sitting with your kids and be like, yeah, I used to go to clubs with my friends. Don't mention that. The cool thing is like being at the mosque. It's funny because like when we go to the mosque for tafsir and the seerah with me, him, and our other friend, that's more of a brotherhood, because the one who's at the mosque will actually stand up for you. The one who's at the club, the one who's like drinking or doing all these other antics, is not going to be there for you because his priorities isn't straight. And I'm sorry if you're hearing this and you do drink, but respectfully, it's my opinion. I believe that if you're not at a religious point in your life where you're trying to connect to Allah, then I will also question my friendship with you because if you're not taking care of your relationship with Allah, how are you gonna take care of my relationship with you?
Yeah. And even to build on that, it's like obviously we talked about 30 minutes about this, everything we've gone through and stuff. So whether you do drink, whether you do smoke, whether you do certain things, that's obviously haram. And you're Muslim. You pray 5 times a day. You try to, and you come from a Muslim background and family and stuff like that. We're not here to judge. We're not judging you. We're not
Nope.
looking down on you. We're not saying we're better than you or belittling you by any means. Like, who are we? We're no one. We're just here talking about experiences that we've gone through. And the whole point at this time is prevention. It's prevention. So for those who haven't stepped in the lines then, not open that door, those who are inside it and trying to find a way out as far as an escape door, by all means, take in everything we're saying because you and I know they could relate more than anyone as far as what we're done.
Agreed. Also, to add on to this one quickly before we end the podcast, is I want to say one thing. We're not here to judge. Of course, everyone has their own trials. They go through a lot of things, and we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make it easier for
I
you.
mean,
But I will also say this, because our friend who he's been on the podcast before, Mr. Muhammad Abbasi, has would always say he disagrees with certain part of the lifestyle. We would always go out with our friends to go eat late at night, stay up until the morning. Again, nothing wrong with that, but everyone has a right to disagree with your lifestyle. Someone, our friend, is so dedicated to the mosque, Allah has the Quran memorized. So when you have a friend like, for example, him who does dawah and who does other things, if you're trying to be his friend, he might say no to you if your lifestyle doesn't, or I might say no to you if your lifestyle doesn't align with mine because I'm like, I'm not trying to relive these same memories that at one point
of course.
I live now. I could be a mentor and help you out from afar. But always be mindful that if someone judges you, you're not wrong. If someone does judge you, right? That's between you and Allah. Of course, people who are sitting, who are trying to make it, who are trying to change up. But I would always say, for the sake of this whole topic, privatize your sins. Don't publicize. I don't know why this whole new generation wants to publicize their sins. Just keep it private between you and Allah. Don't tell no one.
Once again, the lines are blurred. They don't know it, right? Like
You know,
for myself, I know at least 10 to 20 brothers younger than me who you cannot be around them. Number one, if you're of the deen, not only of the deen, of such a high stature, like you love it, you want to learn it, and you want to involve yourself in it and try to become a living example of the different prophets, of the companions and stuff like that. In the conversations that you have amongst each other, it's literally a dream. Seeing those people and everything makes me so shy. And I can tell you because I saw them about a month ago. One of them, I always love this brother. He's an amazing guy. I'm not gonna say his name, but I know he doesn't want his name out there. I was looking at him because everyone's talking. So this is what happened. We're having a conversation and we started talking about old things from back in the days and stuff. And it kind of got annoying. So myself and him and a third brother, we decided to move to the other side of the bench and we decided to sit down and we just decided to like, I was making liquor, the other brother was doing the same thing, the other one decided to read Quran and everything. And we decided to have a conversation amongst ourselves about like, just life building courses. And I looked at him and I'm like, you know what? The one thing I admire about you, because I don't see him all the time. It's once every 6 months or so, right? I said, the one thing I admire about you is that you have such a strong taqwa. Like your shield is incredible. And when I say this, I don't mean like, the general top concept of taqwa is like obviously guarding yourself against things, out of forces and stuff like that. Anytime you see this brother, he knows what is halal, he knows what's haram, and he's easily able to dismantle what's haram. So he's not gonna give you that like, it's okay, I'll let it slide. Like, no, he's just gonna step away from you, not come near you. Anything that's halal is gonna attach himself to you. And it's so easy for him, because for us, we're talking about how the line was blurred. It's so easy for him just to open it, like just split it apart.
yeah,
And I asked him, I'm like, how do you have that? Because it's such a, at your age, it's such a hard, not hard, it's such a rare characteristic to have.
for sure.
And not everyone has that, right? So when I asked him that question, number one, he was kind of amazed I asked him that question. And two, he's like, to me, it's not easy, but obviously I have high goals and aspirations. I want to be someone that, so by doing that, I don't have to put myself in the best group in terms of people, the best mindset in terms of my thoughts, and also practices, daily practices, as far as memorizing different surahs, listening to different reciters, and being at the masjid, and obviously consoling the different imams and stuff of that sort. Because he also studies different sciences, Islamic sciences too. But he looked at me, he's like, but that's what allows me to do this so easy. But at the same time, for me, it's reading Quran. Like I love doing that all the time. So meanwhile, I do that so easy. For you, obviously, just by observing you, is making liquor. Like you do it so much to the point where it's like it's kind of feel like shallow doing it in front of you and stuff, right? So everyone has their own thing that they do. So whatever that thing works for you, continue to do it, magnify it, but at the same time, try to have a balance of doing other things as well, right? So he says that as far as his strong suits, those are the things he holds himself to. And with that, that allows him to have that great sense of taqwa because when you see him in his character and his aura, it's incredible.
What a great way to end the podcast. Alhamdulillah. With that being said, guys, this is the first time in over a year that we recorded. I hope you enjoyed. You'll see more of us, inshallah.
And forgive me for the random movements as far as I'm in excruciating pain right now. So
Okay.
when you see me like moving around and stuff like that, or even talking points and everything, that's I'm the
We'll see you next week. Bye bye.